It says we're live.
We're live.
We're live already.
We're live.
We're
So
live on
make
YouTube.
sure you flip my image. Remember we did that last
Oh
time?
yes. Is it still backwards?
I don't know. I have to check the
Let's see.
YouTubes. The two YouTubes.
So there's a new. Did I tell you about the game, the Office game?
Which one? Tell me more. Tell me more. Like, does he have a car?
What's it called? We're working or something, like working through this or whatever it's called.
I'm gonna get through.
Okay, it's the right way now, on at least on the YouTube.
Noise.
Let's see if we can hear us.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I hear.
I hear the Grease reference. So there we go.
What's it called? I'll pull it up. I'll show you. The Office. Somehow we. Come on. Oh, of course, it's going right to Ryan and Kelly.
If you're watching us right now on YouTube, you're catching the ultra rare pre-show special footage. This is going to be on our Patreon when we reach 1 billion subscribers.
1 billion subscribers.
1 billion.
Somehow we manage. It's called The Office. Somehow we manage.
Okay.
It's one of those idle games where they just keep.
Sorry, I'm fixing the elastics.
Oh,
anyway, go on.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's one of those idle games where you just keep clicking on the guy and he keeps making money.
Oh, like Cookie Cutter.
Yeah.
Or Cookie Clicker.
Yeah. But it has good Office theming to it.
So is it like a mobile game?
It's a mobile game. It's for the phone.
And is it like on the App Store?
It's on the App Store. Yeah.
Oh man,
so
why aren't we getting a paid promotion? We're live streaming.
I know we're live streaming this. The Office Somehow We Manage is the name of the game.
Is there a lot of ads and crap?
You have to double the speed of, or to double the amount of money that you're getting, you have to watch a stupid ad, and every time you watch a stupid ad, it's 4 hours of extra time.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it is very ad heavy, but the good thing, I mean, you hit the ad and you walk away.
You're playing a game wherein you are pressing a person.
Yes.
Right? So like at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, what have you really accomplished? You just keep pushing a button.
Yeah.
You're just that mundane job of just pushing a button.
I think our pre-show banter could be its own show.
It could be.
Pre-Beskar, pre-banter, pre-Bantha Milk.
Yes.
Prantha Milk.
Prantha Milk. The pre-Bantha Milk.
And Dancer and Prancer and Vixen.
Now it's going to be really crazy.
Ready for it.
Oh, that's coming out of that speaker. Okay. Doesn't matter anyway. All right. I don't have any notes because I just got home at like 6:30. So
you don't gotta explain that to me.
We're living off of your.
We're gonna freeball this one.
That's right. Hey now,
you're an all-star.
You're an all-star.
Get your game on. Go play.
All right.
Go on, girl.
Are you ready for?
Oh no.
Oh no.
I don't want that.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Who is that?
It's Kyle from.
Is that Kyle?
It's one of them.
No, it was Cartman, right?
No. Is it Cartman? I think it's Cartman.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, we didn't boost out to any TikTok or anything like that, letting them know that we're going. Whatever.
Or the Instagrams. We didn't.
Or the Instagrams. Instagram live. We'll do it live. All right. I have a great opening. Oh yes. All right. Are you? Oh. Oh no, still making mistakes. Okay. Are you ready?
I was born that way, baby.
Okay. What do you get when you cross the ladies' man with Star Wars?
Wait. I just now realized that that's the ladies' man. Sorry. You can redo that.
No, this is great. Colonel Tuttle.
Oh, boy. I'm just now also noticing this delightfully green algae face we have on our YouTube channel right now.
We have Moss Man.
Yeah. Leon Phelps, the ladies' man.
Leon Phelps, the ladies' man.
And I've seen him in loads of things. I guess my brain went to Mean Girls. Wasn't he in Mean Girls?
He was in Mean Girls. He was the principal in Mean Girls. He's also been in the Goldbergs, recent episodes of the Goldbergs. He's been in it, I think, from the beginning, but since they kicked the dad off the show for being inappropriate, he has a bigger role now because they need another male role on the show.
You can catch this all on Rob's other podcast about the Goldbergs and other
Listen,
television.
I love the Goldbergs.
PHL 17.
That's right. I love the Goldbergs it's good now. It's kind of, I'm sure some people would say jump the shark at this point because it has just gone so far away from its roots, which was growing up in Philadelphia. They still have a lot of Philadelphia references, but the first couple of seasons of the Goldbergs, they were so Philadelphia reference heavy that I was loving it.
Sure,
because I was
it was like a love letter to the city.
Yeah, and like to people my age, because I'm the same age as Adam F. Goldberg, roughly. So all of the things that he was referencing of that time in the 80s was when I was a kid in that same era. So it was a great great show for me. But now they're all grown up, and it's practically like the 90s now, like whatever. Anywho.
And we have a That's 90s show already, so we don't need that.
Yeah, that was a flop.
Was it? I haven't seen any of it.
Yeah. I think there was like 2 different attempts at that because that 70s show was so good.
Right. Well, I actually really like that 70s show.
Yeah, that 70s show was great.
It's too bad that curly-haired dude did all those weird things.
Yeah. On the morning news the one day they said, "Oh, you share your birthday with Danny Masterson." I was like, "Ooh,
great,
bad."
That's what we want to hear.
That's what we want to hear. Yeah. So.
Oh boy, you share your birthday with Harvey Weinstein. Oh, dude, look at that. That's great. Where'd you get that?
We have spoken.
Yeah. So if you're listening to us in your car through your ear holes, and not watching us through your eye holes on the YouTubes. First of all, you're missing out on the fact that Rob still has his beard.
Yeah.
Right? How many months strong by now?
It's been since November, and it's. I don't know.
Proud of you.
Yeah,
but also
anyway.
this delightful Ugnaught that he is showing us.
It's Queel.
It's Queel. Yes.
Yeah.
Where'd you get him?
Five Below.
Dude.
Yeah. So you can pick him up. But yeah, he's awesome. When I saw it, I was like, we have spoken.
We sure have.
He needs to be.
Are we done now? All right. I got to go.
Part of it. We're done.
You said the thing.
I did. I said the goodbye. Our goodbye call. We have.
You know. This is the way, man.
That is the way.
Oh boy.
We are not a Goldbergs podcast. We are not a That 70 Show podcast. We are in fact a Star Wars podcast. You are once again listening to Bantha Milk Podcast, formerly known as Banter Beskar and Bantha Milk.
You did that all in like one breath.
I did.
Delightful.
I'm good like that.
Nice
yo.
job, buddy.
Thank you. So yes, we're Bantha Milk Podcast. Nick knows all the social medias. I don't know any of them.
Yeah, I'm just looking at myself in the thing here, and like my eyes are so closed because your dogs were all up in my business.
Oh no,
and so
yeah,
now I'm dying.
and your
that's okay.
allergies.
I'm gonna pour some Bantha milk as I talk about all of our social medias.
You talk about it because I need to find my bottle opener.
Because Rob can't find. Oh, there's right here in front of me, brother.
Oh, that's why I can't.
I was hiding it from you. So,
jeez, kids these days.
Kids. What we gonna do, kids these days?
And you have my glass also.
Oh,
we are very.
Did you give me the wrong glass?
No.
Oh, it's that one.
It's over there next to your water bottle. Yeah.
What? I just sang something from a musical.
You did.
I don't know what it is though.
Is it from Oliver or is it? What's
Not
the matter
Oliver,
with these
definitely
kids today?
Yeah, no. I just don't know. Anyway,
it might be Annie. I think it's Annie.
If you know what musical that is from, like, comment, subscribe below.
That's right.
That being said, you can find us all over social media. You can find us on Instagram at banthamilkpodcast.com. You can also catch us at that same very handle. Wait, not banthamilkpodcast.com. Banthamilk Podcast. You can catch us at our website, banthamilkpodcast.com. On Facebook, we're Banthamilk Podcast. You can check out our group, Facebook.com/Sacred Jedi Texts. You can check us out on TikTok, and if you want to see Rob and his family doing very strange things, and Rob doing borderline inappropriate dance moves, and you can check us out on Twitter if you paid Twitter's rent this month. If not, I don't think they're going to let you post about it.
Bye Bye Birdie?
It is Bye Bye Birdie. Man, I knew it was a show that I had played before, and I've never, oddly enough, never played for Oliver, or I think I might have played for Annie once. Anyway, Those are our social medias. You should check out all of our friends on the Ears Up Network, Ears with a Z.
Ears with a Z.
And they're all good, great dudes. Rob got to hang with our buddy Johnny Jalopy last time because I don't even remember what the hell happened.
You were working late or something. You had a rough day. You lost your voice again, maybe?
That's what it was. Oh,
yes.
Man. So my voice was gone. Man, this has been a hell of a week. It's still not quite back. But
we both have a very sultry voice
we
now.
Sound like WEOK.
WEOK radio.
WEOK after hours. Talking about you, about your intimate times. Let's not do it there. Anyway, so I completely lost my voice as I left the building from work. And it was gone mostly through that Saturday that we were talking about where I had that doubleheader gig. Which was not great for a jazz gig.
No.
But, I'm on my way. I'm on my way back.
You're on your way back.
I have a glass of Bantha milk.
So last week, Johnny Jalopy joined us. It
Joppy
was
Jelani, as I like to call him.
As you like to call him. It was a long episode because Johnny was also given a recap of all 3
of the
seasons.
Mandalorian, yeah.
Because he just binge watched it over the past couple of weeks. So he's all caught up. He's very excited. He said he'd be willing to become a 3rd member of Bantha Milk Podcast.
Oh, man. That's all right. He just has to, let us be a 3rd member of Sketchy Live.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We can rotate.
We'll take Itty Bitty's spot, and I'm sure she'll love that.
She will not any of their followers will like that.
No, they will not.
They will certainly not.
The Itty Bitty is the best.
Yeah,
so
she's a fan favorite.
She is a fan favorite.
Just like Rob's beard.
So if you're into watching people draw,
that's what they call Sherry. Oh, sorry, that was rude. Go on.
So if you're into watching somebody sketch live of hot rod art, Johnny Jalopy is the man. He did these paintings over my left shoulder here, out
that
way there, of the Star Wars vehicles. We have the X-wing. He said before the show, let everybody in on a little secret, that he wants to try and figure out how he can draw a hot rod of the Razor Crest after now watching The Mandalorian. Bro, I know. He said I really like that.
Oh no, but like the N5, is that what the
N1?
N1, yeah, that would be a rad one.
It would, because it's already like hot roddy-esque.
Yeah.
So that would be a pretty cool one.
He could just do a Din Djarin's ride mix up.
Yeah, it would. Can you imagine? Well, he did one this week where it was like a van in the back, but then a hot rod, like an old T-bucket hot rod in the front. So instead of having the van wheels come out where van wheels normally come out of, it came out way out in the front, kind of like a dragster type of thing.
Okay.
So it could almost be like the front half of the N1 and then the Razor Crest in the back half type of thing. That would be something crazy.
I think Joppy will think of something better than we will.
I think he would, because he's a much more creative than we are.
That's for sure.
We're just mostly talkers.
We just talk.
Yeah.
Into these microphones for the dozens and dozens.
Yep, of people who love
we
to
like and ask to play this.
So we didn't get your review of last week's episode. Do you remember last week's episode?
I do. Remind me what happened.
There was some Mandalorian stuff, and then there was some action stuff, and then some other things happened. And last week's episode was called. Let's see. Hold on.
Man, I can't believe after that little, because I had things to say that I really liked it.
Yeah, you did. You were like, I have so much I want to talk about. But then we saw this next episode, and we were like, so last episode was called, The Foundling, when we saw Jar Jar Binks' reincarnation of Jar Jar Binks.
Yes. Yeah, so great episode.
Yes.
Ahmed Best is the name of the actor who played Jar Jar, and he earned the redemption arc that he got because he got so much online hate and stuff for his portrayal of Jar Jar, and he was just doing his job. Like, he did a great job at it. It's not his fault the character sucked.
Yeah.
And so he actually was Keller and Best in this Star Wars game show.
Yep.
And that was just his little redemption, and his oh, look at that, they made him a part of Star Wars lore. He's a Jedi Master, and he's called the Sabered Hand on the show because his students name him that because he's. But when they said get him to Keller, and it was well, what? Hold up,
Yeah.
That like little, and they did such a he was so cool. I hope that's not all we see of him.
So, yeah, I hope we see him.
Was the fight scene rad.
Right, I liked it. I thought it was cool. He had 2 different blades,
and he didn't drop one 5 seconds later.
No,
that's how. Oh, look at how cool I am with 2 blades. And
then one goes away. Yeah, we'll go back to just one.
He did the thing, and he did it well.
He did it
2 different colors too, weren't they?
Yeah, because he picked up. He had his own blade, and then he picked up somebody who was shot down.
Oh,
he picked up their blade, and so it's not even like he is like Ahsoka, where you're used to doing with 2, but he was just like, watch this. He
is, after all, the sabered hand.
He is. Yeah. He is. There was some buzz during this past week about that, and people were saying, it's like people were saying it's so. I'm trying to figure out how they worded it. They were saying like it's so good for him to get this redemption arc for him, blah blah blah, but. Somebody replied in the comments basically like it wasn't his fault. Like people sent him death threats, and he contemplated suicide.
It got bad.
It got bad, and all he was, even on Screen Crush, he even said all he was an actor in a fish suit in a space pirate movie.
Yep.
And people were telling him like he should kill himself because he was. And it's ridiculous. He shouldn't have needed the redemption arc because it wasn't his fault at all that Jar Jar Binks, the character, was stupid.
And it also wasn't his fault that, regardless of a stupid character, that the world is full of hateful idiots that react to a stupid character by giving death threats. Because that's
to the actor.
Ridiculous in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like, how about saying, hey, that's a terrible, stupid character. I'm going to talk about how stupid and terrible it is online and complain about it. But that's it. Because that's fine. It's fine if you want to complain about a stupid character online.
Yeah.
You have that right? That's fine.
Yeah, but don't threaten the guy's life over it.
People, the internet had like 2 diverging paths. I feel like it could have gone on.
Mm-hmm.
It went the less lesser
civilized way.
Routes.
Yeah.
And here we are podcasting on it.
Yep.
Cheers.
Here we are. We're trying to spread goodness instead of badness. Indeed. But yeah, so it was
Star Wars episode at a time.
One Star Wars episode at a time. So it was good for civilized human beings to apologize to him basically and say, hey, this character that you did was awesome. But instead they're like, oh, it's such a good redemption arc for him. But it wasn't his fault. He didn't need the redemption arc. Society needed the redemption arc because they were such jerks for no reason in the first place. Yep. So I'm happy.
Maybe they can make society a Jedi Master and give us
I know, right?
a Jedi a redemption arc.
Yeah, that would be much
Imagine
better.
Like Grogu's in trouble and all of a sudden Jedi Master Society pops on
Society
screen.
pops on screen? Yeah, they would not do well.
No.
They would not do well.
They'd just be leaving trash comments on YouTube
and say, we can't help you. Look at you. You're little. Me. And they would just be mean to him. So whatever. So that was a good part. They
saved Paz Vizsla's kid,
right?
And Paz Vizsla did what, of course, he was going to do. Where he was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to run into this because my kid's in there." And they're like, "No, don't do that."
He's
like, "No, but it's my kid."
I see the heat source. It's my kid in there.
Definitely
it's not your kid.
He's just taking a nap.
Yeah, and then they had the separate arc with Grogu. He got his own
his little
necklace,
chest piece.
his chest piece, his who was the guy from I was gonna say Run DMC.
Oh no, it's Flavor Flav.
Flavor Flav, he got his own Flavor Flav clock.
Yeah, boy.
But yeah, so Trey said to me, he said, "I'm calling it now. Grogu's gonna get shot, and everybody's gonna think he's dead.
100%.
And it's gonna be that piece of Mandalorian Beskar that protected him and saved his life.
100%. Like,
so
without a doubt.
Yeah, that's this. Once you put a piece of armor somewhere, you know it's gonna get shot,
especially when it covers most of their body.
Mm-hmm.
But also they've dropped a lot of hints about him talking.
Right.
Because at one point, like he was saying, why isn't he wearing blah, blah, blah? Well, he's not old enough to speak.
He's not old enough to speak. Yeah,
and
so
he specifically said to speak the creed.
Yes.
So.
And I think, I don't know if it was that episode or the episode before, but one of the episodes, they were mumbling or they talked around him, and then he mumbled something,
Mm-hmm.
and it clearly sounded like mumbling, "This is the way." So while I was really hoping that his first words were going to be frog or cookie or whatever,
You think maybe he already knows how to talk?
no, I
He's
don't think
50
so.
years old.
He's been
But,
around
like,
a long time.
Maybe like his experiences but no, I guess at the Jedi Temple he wasn't exactly talking either.
Yeah.
He was just kind of floating.
Oh,
around
and then
in his
also when
crib.
they had the flashback, did you notice he was a little bit babyish? He was a
Yeah.
little bit tinier. We saw
Yeah.
an even cuter version of him.
But now, do you think we're gonna see where he goes? Like why he was in that like desert out in the middle of nowhere? Since we're getting these flashbacks of his saving him.
I think only if he's going to be around the room when she's hammering away again. I think we did that once.
Yeah, in this series, it's the hammer that gives us flashbacks versus
Yes.
the back to tanks.
The back to tanks.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to be. She's going to be slamming too much on the hammer for him.
I think she will.
You think she's going to build a whole suit for him?
I think something's gonna because like there's plenty of the armor is very active right now. There's a lot of talk about the forge and the forge of Mandalore and the Great Forge of Mandalore and this forge. So I think it's pretty clear we're gonna see her forging more armor and stuff. So.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my eye is.
I see it. Yeah, you
burning
need
out
some
of its socket.
Benadryl.
Yeah, Benadryl put me to sleep though.
Oh.
I'm sitting here. So anyway, we're talking about.
Yeah, we don't want that. So last week's episode, good episode. What would you rate it? I said, I think it would be like a B+ again.
I'd agree.
Yeah, it was. It had a lot of more. I do like all the and we talked a lot. I talked a lot about it with Johnny because he's very into faith.
Mm-hmm.
It had a lot more religious tones to it.
Sure.
And even the whole Mandalorian culture is very closely based. Screen Crush was talking about it. Very closely based on Judaism background, and they were, sent away from their motherland. I forget, like where Israel is now and stuff like that, and they were wanderers and all this stuff, and
The Promised Land.
the Promised Land, and then with the baptism and all that stuff that the kid was going through and whatever. So there was a lot to it, to a lot of religious undertones
For sure.
to last week's episode. And then this week's episode comes around. Let's just do this real fast. I don't have any news because I've been so busy that I didn't get any news.
Star Wars news.
But instead of Star Wars news, we'll just hit a quick commercial, and then we will talk about this episode after we come back from this commercial break.
I'm into nuggets, y'all. I'm into nuggets, y'all. Is that I hope that's the commercial. Remember that commercial?
Yes, I do.
McNuggets, what? Ketchup and mayo. Yeah, that was,
I
that was
remember.
a fun time in life.
I remember the original one. 2 all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
That's
Yep,
right.
that was
I
a good
want. Oh man.
McDonald's.
Man,
and
I
Biggest
haven't had
Loser
dinner.
just started this week for us too, so it's
I haven't
like
had dinner tonight.
there you go. I think you're stopping at McDonald's on the way home.
There's a small possibility that's happening. Anyway.
Anywho,
We are here to talk about season 3, episode 5.
5,
Holy
chapter
shnikes, already?
21. Yeah. So this is the other thing I was thinking about this. We're already up to episode 5. There's only 3 episodes left.
Yep.
We really haven't had the big conflict yet.
Yeah, it started out fast,
Yeah.
and the last couple episodes have been substantial, but a lot of things have been happening in separate places.
Yeah.
So, like, not a whole lot of time has passed on.
No.
It's interesting seeing that, like, Din has just, I guess, he lives with the covert now. He's just with them now. Because, like, when Space Cop pulls up, he's just kind of hanging out with him, like, hey, bro, you're not wanted here, Blue.
Yeah, and Bo-Katan also. They both, because they were both baptized in the waters, so now
waters.
they are both allowed to be part of the armor.
Yep.
So they said, okay,
They
you
got
do
the
this.
cooties wiped off of them.
They sure did.
So now they're back in the club.
And I did like how Bo-Katan has kind of like adopted their ways. She's like, okay, like last week, how do you eat with your helmet on?
Right.
So she has appreciated it. She has fallen into the ways, and it is also interesting. I think we talked about it, that the armor has the spikes on her helmet,
Right.
which could be from
Death
Watch, which Bo-Katan was also a part of Death Watch.
Right,
after
but that was when they split.
Yeah,
was when Maul took over because he claimed the Darksaber from Pre-Vizsla.
Pre-Vizsla, yeah.
And so the people who stuck with him got the little horns
spikes,
on their
the horns,
helmet,
yeah.
and the people who did not were like Bo-Katan's faction.
So, this episode, you're gonna have to help me with the rundown because, like I said, I'm very behind, and I apologize. I did watch the whole thing. I just didn't write down any notes while I was doing it. So
we open up on a magical land filled with fairies and puppy dogs.
On a magic carpet ride.
A whole new Disney has just DCMA'd this.
They have.
That was it. They own those couple of syllables.
Just those 3 words.
That's it. So anyway, so I'm trying to think where we start. I think we start with Space Cop, don't we?
We start. No, what is before Space Cop? Don't we start with Grief Karga and the pirates taking over?
So Grief Karga is having a hilariously broad scopes meeting, like town meeting, like. What are we doing? The trade center shouldn't be there. It should be over there. Let's move all these buildings.
We're gonna move, and I was wondering. I'm like, they're moving buildings. Like, I don't get it. What's going on?
We're going to be moving a lot of cargo. And where's the rails? Like, where is it? Like, it's right there.
It's right there. Like, what are you talking about?
I guess they're trying to get across the point that they're planning future expansion.
Yeah,
but like it just seemed very. I'm in a meeting. I'm gonna do this until the plot point happens.
Right. I'm gonna talk city stuff, and this is all I know. We should have buildings.
Look, I'm doing the good thing for the people.
I am one of the people. I'm a good guy now.
Here comes the plot.
It's coming in on this big spaceship,
and then all of a sudden we get the Hydrox brand C-3PO comes in with his weird face.
This weird
face.
He's
like, hey, in case you didn't see that giant ship flying in, we're in trouble.
The bowl and basket, the ShopRite brand
or what's
cereal.
What is the Kirkland?
Kirkland. Yeah, the
right.
Kirkland cereal.
But Kirkland brand's actually pretty good.
They're not bad. Yeah, there's a lot of. I don't mind Kirkland at all. So.
I used to wear Kirkland underwear.
Oh,
I don't anymore.
But not anymore. You stepped up in the world.
Yeah. Now I wear. I'm not gonna get into that anyway. So anyway,
in this episode we find out about Nick's undergarments.
We find out way too much, and we somehow lost and gained weird subscribers. So yeah, we have this pirate invasion, which I love. How they're depicting pirates.
Yes.
Because it's just pirates.
They're just pirates.
In space. It's like their little like second in command looked like a little alien Captain Smee
from
Peter Pan.
From Peter Pan. Yeah.
It was so silly and I loved it. And you had him barking orders. And then at one point like the captain actually took over this giant wheel.
And I love how there's a giant wheel just like an old pirate ship has. It has a giant wheel.
Like, we're taking her down.
Yep. And there was one thing that I did notice. There was one scene you could so tell that Carl Weathers dyed his hair, and I'm pretty sure he had like the spray to fill in the hair.
Okay.
Because it was the head part, like on top of his head, was so black and so full that I was just like, oh my gosh, like that is, you totally dyed that. Like his whole scalp is dyed black.
Oh boy.
So that was pretty funny. I was like, wow, okay. So then then Grief Karga, this is when he sends it to Kim's Creations.
He throws his hands like this on his shirt. He's like, I'm gonna look badass before these people. But hey, pirates.
Hey, pirates.
Yeah.
So then he sends a message to Kim's convenience store in Canada and says, "Can you come help me?"
Is he in a show?
That's what Paul Sun Hung. I forget. I don't know how to say his last name, but the space.
I just call him Space Cop.
Space Cop. That's Space Cop was in Kim's Convenience before he was in this. It was a really good show. I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix now.
I was actually just saying to Pagan while we watched it, I haven't seen him in anything, and I like him.
Yeah.
So
he's I forget how to say it. Oompa is like dad in like Korean or something like that.
Okay.
So it's all he owns a convenience store, and it's him and his wife and his daughter and their son, and whatever. So it's cute. It's a comedy. It's fun. It's not on anymore. The last season it got apparently all of the writers were white people, and it was a show about a Korean family. and so they were trying to make them do just things that the Korean people were like, wait, we're not dumb. Like Koreans aren't dumb. That doesn't happen. So then there was a big like backlash about that. So, but up until that point, when they, it was good stuff. I liked it. So definitely check it out.
So in this bar, we get big old cameo, right? Big old space cameo that
multiple space cameos.
Okay.
Captain, the 3 pilots who are the producers, the Wolf, Lone Wolf.
So Dave Filoni was
Dave
one of
Filoni,
them, right?
yeah.
Taika Waititi one of them?
I don't think Taika Waititi. Trapper Wolf, Jib Dunger, so Rick Fumiyama, Deborah Chow, and Dave Filoni. Yeah,
I definitely saw Dave Filoni as like sitting as a foreground character or something.
Yeah.
But when Zeb came on screen, man, I was like,
Zeb.
What?
Yeah, Zeb was awesome.
I love how he's clearly very CGI'd, but I don't know how you make a character like that work without it.
Well, yeah.
And it looked good, and I hope they do more with him. And I'm loving how many Rebels things we're getting in this. And I'm hoping that means that, like Ahsoka, we're going to get a lot of this stuff.
So it's already confirmed that in Ahsoka that the younger kid.
Wow, why is that escaping my brain too? Some Star Wars podcast.
I know, right? We're the worst Star Wars podcast ever. Star Wars Rebels.
Now all I can think of is Kanan, because you said the word Kanan.
I know. Star Wars Rebels.
He's the main freaking
the main
character.
Kid. Yeah, Ezra. My goodness. Ezra and Sabine have both been confirmed that they're going to be in the Ahsoka series at some point in time. So that'll be cool. Now, since Ezra did go off on his own, they'll probably just find Ezra at one scene or whatever. So maybe that'll be what their big culmination, or something. Who knows? But as both of them are supposed to be in it,
I think them bringing Zeb into live action.
Yes.
As they're setting up all these things, like it would be silly for them, especially like we also know Hera is still around at this point.
Yes.
Right? Because we saw the ghost in The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi, yeah.
Or Rise of Skywalker. So like it would be so rad to see this the entire crew of the Ghost like back together during Ahsoka. It would be my favorite thing in the world.
It would be really, really cool.
But in the meantime,
but also maybe if they bring back the Star Wars Force Rangers, Ranger Force.
Yeah, it does seem like with the Adelphi Rangers thing, because I'm really into it. Like I like the whole vibe that this guy gave off. Like when he rolled up into Coruscant with like his bomber jacket on. Yeah. Like as like the fighter pilot walking into like the
like Tom Cruise and
and he's just like the dude who's out in the field, and this dude's in requisitions. You know, like I don't know. I really dug that. I would love to see, because like every dogfight they're doing is awesome.
It's very awesome.
Like every single one they do looks rad, and it just makes me want. You know, I think because like I try and compare everything, I guess, to Game of Thrones, because that's the other really huge budget CGI thing that's like I'm into and has been big and is in sci-fi / fantasy. And I think the Dragon, I love the shows, and especially Fire and Blood, but the Dragon CGI looks crappy sometimes.
Yeah. There was definitely a couple of scenes when I was like, eh.
But if you think back to 1977, like some of that flight stuff still looks good, and I think part of it is just movement. You have X-wing, none of the parts have to move in order to make it look like it's flying. You know what I mean? So I think when you have like a big floppy dragon flying through the air, you have more challenges that you're probably going to face.
Right, you have to keep the camera, either the floppy dragon has to be further away, or you have to keep the camera with the floppy dragon to make it look like it's flying, without it looking that it's just standing there. And then when you're doing all of that, you're spending so much time making the floppy dragon look like it's flying, where with the X-Wing or even TIE fighters, because they don't even have jet engines coming out of the back of them, you can move these things a lot better because there's no movement on those. It's a static object.
That,
Yeah.
like, literally in 77, they stuck onto a peg and just flew. And
Mm-hmm.
again, the things that hold up the best about the old Star Wars movies are some of the space scenes.
Yeah.
You know, they don't look amazing, but like they still look pretty good. Like the Death Star trench run still looks pretty fun, and except like I still enjoy it. And
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
The battle at Endor is still pretty rad.
Yeah, even when they're the logs are busting the AT-AT's heads, or the AT-ST's heads. Yeah, like it still holds up.
Yep.
Because it's not a lot of needed organic movements. It's all
And all that organic movement takes being super meticulous, and being super meticulous takes a lot of time and money and energy.
Yeah, because if you're not meticulous with it, then it looks really bad.
Yep. And so it also, again, it makes me wonder what happened during Book of Boba Fett for that scooter scene. Because, like, you have static objects, man. Like, it looked like crap. Like, we're here we are in The Mandalorian Season 3, and so far in 5 episodes, we've had at least 3 or 4 rad dogfights.
Right.
That all looked great. That all had awesome CGI. That I was never taken out of it like, oh, that looks crappy, or that's clearly CGI. I was like engaged. Like the choreography, I guess if you could call it, was always awesome.
Yeah.
Like seeing like Din and Bo-Katan like fly like right by each other through explosions and crap.
And even last week, there was one scene where he blew up the ship, and instead of just flying through the dust, they made him go up and over it.
Yep.
And there was another scene when he's flying like along the water, and you see the stuff falling to the lake behind him. Like it was just those little extra things that make it so much better. And it makes me want to think that they tried to make the scooter scene because they were supposed to be like Vespas.
Right.
Maybe they wanted it to be super slow, but it looked like it was even slower than it needed to be. Like if it was sped up to 2x speed, it almost looked like a good chase scene.
But maybe I have to watch it again because I've only watched it once. But like Boba was involved in that scene, right?
They were all the gangsters chasing somebody who stole something
and
from
Boba was
Boba.
on foot, I think. So like, wouldn't Boba be better off in his jetpack rather than
just
allowing the Vespa? I don't know. Again, it's been since it aired.
Right. Speaking of jetpacks, there was a scene this episode that they should have used their jetpacks and they didn't. And I was like, "You have jetpacks on."
Which one was it? Because I'm sure I said the same thing.
So okay, so we're getting back on. Getting back onto okay.
So we have the space cop. We meet Zeb. He goes, "Something's fishy here."
Yeah.
And he goes back to space precinct. And says, "Hey, I want to space investigate," and we see space bad guy.
So this is what made me laugh a little bit. Like he's out in the outer rim, and instead of just, I get it. He was trying to get backup. He needed backup.
Right.
So he had to go all the way to Coruscant.
But here's what I'm thinking too, because like we never really know how time works here. Like he said, "Oh, you're a long way," but like, how long does it take to get to Coruscant from the Outer Rim?
Yeah.
In an X-wing.
Right. If
like
you have
in hyperspace.
In hyperspace.
Like it doesn't look like there's a bed in there.
No.
Like
no, and there, there's no back tube in there. There's no bed. There's
so
no,
like it can't be a several days journey.
Right, because
unless he's just got like like
amazing
a space
bladders.
suit. He's just got like a bag and like he does what he has to do. But like for such a small craft to have a hyperspace drive, you would think that there would be. So I don't know, like, and especially like how long is this all taking? Because he says, "Hey, we're getting attacked by Gorian Shard." Gorian Shard says, "Don't call me until you are willing to say, take over my planet. You're good."
Right.
So, like, then he starts shooting the whole place. How long between then and the time he goes, gets it, he travels back to Coruscant, he has this pedantic little conversation, he travels to the covert, he talks to them, then they finally get there. don't you think that the whole place would be leveled by then?
Yeah, like it's got to be at least a week's worth of time
Yeah.
going around to all those places.
Unless, like, literally, like, oh, you came a long way. Maybe it feels like a long time when it takes you, like, 3 hours in hyperspace. Maybe that feels like a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case. Then.
No, I feel because also when we finally go back, when he finally convinces, so he goes to Coruscant, they say no. We also see the mole. She's
Yes.
there, and we all know she's a mole.
And she's just as cryptic and evil looking and,
Yeah.
and sneaky and, like, too happy and, like, come on, dude. Open your eyes, bro.
And he knows
Something's fishy.
he knows something's fishy. He knows that she's not to be trusted, but nobody else seems to know that she's not to be trusted. And I don't understand why nobody else has figured this out. He's the only one he's like looking at her badge that she has and all this stuff. So
and by the
he
time
says
they figure it out, it'll be
too late. So he said to them the same thing that he said last season when he said it to Cara Dune, that there's something going on out here in the Outer Rim, and I don't know what it is yet, but it's not right. So he knows that something's going on, which is why I also think he'll be a great leader of the spinoff show if they make it. That would be really cool for him to. Sorry, I'm trying Manda. I'm trying to type in Mandalorian. It'll be cool for him to have his own spinoff show with Zeb and who else, and maybe even Trapper John MD or whatever Dave Filoni's name is.
Right.
But it would be cool for that to happen. So they say no, we can't help you. I'm just in requisitions here, and the thing that he had that the droid was bringing over and dropping on his desk was the same thing that the Dr. Pershings was doing back before, where he was checking everything off and saying that these things, and he's like, wait, I'm doing all this work and all you're doing, a droid can do it, and it's just being thrown. We're throwing all this stuff away.
Yep.
So and it was funny that they were the same things that now this guy's the next one to have these, and he's getting rid of them. So he's like, I can't do anything for you. So then he's like, okay,
I'm gonna go talk to this band of outlaws.
Yeah, Captain Carson, that's his name.
Weirdos.
I'm gonna go talk to these guys because I'm friends with them because I ran into them and didn't arrest one of them.
So we're cool now.
And it was cool that they brought Skippy the droid all the way around and gave him some more of a purpose.
Yeah, so now, but that just fans the flames of the theorists out there that say that Skippy is a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Like until now, it was all speculation and that, Skippy actually, meant to blow up so that R2 could save the day because he's a Jedi, and it was super tinfoily. And the more reasonable conclusion to come to was that Skippy was just a crappy droid who short-circuited. But now apparently Skippy served in the rebellion.
Served in the rebellion at some point. Now we find this out, and so he was on Tatooine at some point in time, served on the rebellion, and then somehow went back.
Managed to get back into the hands of more important. Again, this sure seems like a droid that is led by the Force to me.
Yes, he's going. Yeah, so he's back now with them, and on top of it, Captain Carson somehow is able to contact him and be like, "Hey, you with those Mandalorian type folk?"
And don't astromech droids routinely get their memory wiped?
Yes, the only one who hasn't was R2-D2, but everyone else routinely gets their memory.
Certainly seems like it would take someone, convincing a human not to memory wipe them.
Right.
Somehow.
Yes. You will not memory wipe me. You will not do it.
Deep.
I'm not going to memory wipe you. Go ahead. Next droid, please. So
anyway.
Yeah. So then he
finds his friends in a cave.
Mm-hmm.
His friends don't want to come out and play.
Nope.
They all walk on out looking badass, and Din's like, bro, he's cool. He helped me get out of a speeding ticket, we're all right.
We're all right, but we still have to move now because now somebody knows
thanks,
where we
bro.
are.
Thanks, Skippy.
We
We'll
have to-
talk to you later.
Yeah, we have to pack all the stuff up. Thanks to you, Skippy. You know how heavy this forge is? We only have 2 ships,
Right?
and one holds 1 person and a little alien. That's it.
Yeah, really. I
So
wonder how they're getting anywhere.
We're all gonna have to fit into the cargo carrier.
How do they get there? They have to have ships somewhere.
Because of Bo-Katan's ship just so happens to be a starport carrier or cargo carrier type ship. It's big enough that it can hold all 12 of the Mandalorians.
Yeah, and they're going to restart their culture out of all 12 of those Mandalorians.
Yes.
But that's okay because apparently freaking, what's the name of the planet?
The one that they left?
Navarro.
Navarro.
So apparently Navarro has like 30 residents.
And Navarro, you're telling me in this, I don't know how big this planet is, even if it's the size of, say, Pluto.
I will say that.
There's only 1 city.
That's it, right there. Citizens of Navarro.
Right, all 20 of you.
All of you.
All
here
of you.
in this space right here.
Yeah, there's the whole planet has 1 city on it.
Although there were like 4 or 5 dudes left back in town getting harassed by the pirates.
Yes, everybody else ran except for 4, and I don't know why those 4 didn't leave also. So they were getting harassed by the pirates. So they go. We are all over the place this week.
That's all right. It's us.
They go back to the Mandalorians are like, we can't do this because, and then they have the tribal meeting.
And everyone gets to hold the truth
Everybody,
stick.
the truth stick, the conch. I have the conch.
Excuse me. I'm holding the truth
I'm
stick.
holding the truth stick. You can't talk while I hold the truth stick. Piggy, sit down. These 2 are going to talk. Oh, Sam and Eric get to talk next. That's all from Lord of the Flies.
I just can't. It was so silly, like the little wrench that they held.
Yeah, is that if whoever the hammer that makes the armor. This is what if you hold this, you're allowed to talk.
Because I get to, the armor's like I get to kill people with this later. So like, you hold it
Everybody
now.
hold it now.
I'll kill people with it.
I
later.
will smash pirates' heads in with this.
Yeah.
So they're having a debate. They're having a town meeting
And
amongst the 12 of them.
They try and act like we all don't realize Paz Vizsla is going to back Mando. Like
Right.
As though we all don't know he's all of a sudden going to say, this is the way, or because like this dude saved my kid. Like
so
really?
Now, yeah,
come on,
yeah.
we
were.
I was nervous. Oh gosh, is he going to put up?
Is he going to argue about this and say no? We're not going.
He saved my kid. Screw that guy. I'm
that guy.
I'm not saving
yeah,
his friend. Yeah. So they so very clearly and blatantly are going to go and help.
Yes.
And they do, and it's rad. Like,
it is rad.
The whole scene is excellent. The whole drop scene where they drop from the
that was in the
planes.
previews. We finally see the drop scene in the previews, so that was awesome. They have
the N1 comes in and like harasses them at first,
and then
like,
starts drawing them out. So it was very well choreographed, almost as well as when we first met Bo-Katan with her 2 other Mandalorians.
Yeah,
and
their precision strike team stuff.
Yeah, they were very well. So you could tell she led them, and this is what we're gonna do. She even said like, "This is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this." Blah blah blah. So she is a very well military mind. Has a great military mind to her. So they go in, like you said, great dogfight scene. The N1's going around taking out ships.
And she even gave like this really rad like pep talk, like you once lived in the sewers here.
Yeah.
Now you can be here like that, like a super. Like,
yeah. Now you can live
your
above
leader.
ground and all this stuff. And then, was it before or after?
I don't know. You have to tell me.
When the armor told her to take her helmet off.
This was
that was
after.
this is after. This is when they're back on Navarro. So yeah, so she plans the whole giant fight scene and everything, and it goes down with precision, just the way they wanted it. Except for this is the one scene that I was talking about. They drop the first crew out. They go down. They do their thing. Of course, Paz Vizsla with his giant Gatling gun. They're getting almost pinned down. He wipes out everybody.
Because like no one thought maybe I should just bring a bigger gun.
And then the other thing, this is probably the 3rd time that we've seen it in The Mandalorian, where the bad guys have a giant Gatling gun that we have to stop and put together.
Right.
Nobody puts it together beforehand.
That's it, man.
Even though in this scene, the bottom was mounted on the building. It was already there.
Yeah, but you know, you don't want to give as a pirate, while you're occupying enemy territory, you don't want to give an air of like totalitarianism
right,
by having a gun just out. So you leave that like on the side, and you
Sure.
put that out, like, what are the odds that you're going to need it?
You're not going to need it, so we'll just leave it down here. Keep it out of the elements. We don't want it to get all dirty or anything like that. We'll just put it down here.
Who's gonna drop in holding one of these things?
Right. Nobody's going to hold one. Nobody's strong enough to hold one by themselves. So
anyway.
Yeah. So then
Everyone's dead.
Everyone's dead, and then this was also a great scene as they're the Gatling gun on the top is trying to shoot everybody. And the armorer somehow sneaks up, very Rambo-esque, like.
Yeah. We've never seen the armorer shoot a gun.
No, she has not. She has not wielded firing mechanisms at all.
This again lends credence to my thought that maybe she's a Jedi.
Could be because
she uses a more civilized weapon for.
It would be cool if the hammer, she just pulls the top off and it's just a glowing
I'm
stick.
still convinced that. I don't understand how Paz and Din could have stopped at the same exact time before stabbing themselves with those vibro blades in the first episode.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's something fishy going on with the armor.
Yeah,
I'm thinking maybe she's like a Night Sister.
That would be cool if she was.
And she's got some Night Sister magic going on.
Yeah, because now that we know that Mandalorians aren't just from Mandalore, that they're taking anybody in that they want to make a Mandalorian. So it would be cool if she was a Night Sister. Maybe that's why she doesn't want to take her helmet off, because she doesn't want anybody to see that she is a Night Sister underneath there, because then she'll lose all her credibility. So that would be pretty cool.
I have some theories about some people from the Jedi Fallen Order series, but I don't have a PS5, so when that comes out at the end of this month, I won't be able to talk about it.
You could. Trey did tell me that you can play it on a PC, but you don't have that either.
I have a PC. And it can do games. It's pretty good.
Okay.
I think it could probably handle this. It would max it the hell out. But I think it could probably handle it. But I just don't it's not how I game.
Right.
I game on my couch.
Yeah.
At late at night when it's it's the only time I get to. So I'm not gonna sit in my office next to my daughter's room and where my wife's sleeping and just be on. It just doesn't
happen.
It's not how I like to. And I do game on my PC occasionally, but I would much rather be relaxing on my couch.
I understand.
You can donate to our Patreon
at Ears Up.
Yeah,
Ears Up Podcast.
Make sure in the note you say this is to get both Rob and Nick a PS5 so that they can start streaming.
We can start
Jedi.
That's right. Fallen Order.
What's the new one?
World
Jedi Survivor.
Survivor. Yeah.
Yeah. So the pirate invasion has been belayed,
and it was a lot of good scenes here. Now you could tell, because of course pirates can't leave anything nice.
No.
So even though some of the destruction was from the ship above bombing the city to get everybody to leave, because for some reason they have an entire planet that they could occupy, but they need this one city.
This is ours.
So there a lot of that was blown up from them. But then you also see that the pirates are totally disrespecting the town as it is and just trashing it even more, which also leads me to believe that pirates don't like nice things, apparently. So then as they're being fought down and taken down by the Mandalorians, there's a couple of them that fall in front of Mark Hamill and his little friend. What are the two little guys?
The
ones that,
not
those things.
What are those little guys? The Babu Frick.
Yeah, Babu Frick. Yeah.
Whatever he was.
So Babu Frick and his friend even their window was broken, and it was all the way on the floor. So pirates must just walk by and go, "Oh, look, more glass. Let's kick it, break everything." So they were laughing at them and saying, "You deserve this type of thing." But then when the second group leaves the ship, and they land, they get trapped in the middle of two pirates bands are coming towards them. They're like, "We're boxed in."
Yep. And they should have flown up. Yes.
All have jetpacks.
You're right, and that is literally the time where I said to Peggy, "Why don't they just fly away?"
Yeah, I said the same thing. I yelled at the TV. I said, "You have jetpacks."
Yeah.
But apparently they didn't hear me, because then they needed the other Mandalorians to fly in.
They must have been out of fuel.
They were out of fuel.
We were introduced to that concept last episode that you can run out of fuel,
which makes sense to me. They're not very big. Did you see the guy who had his own jetpack in the 70s or 80s?
Yeah.
He flew into stadiums and stuff, but it was that same concept. he could only
like
go
a
from
15,
outside the
maybe a little,
stadium to inside the stadium. It was like 15, 30-second
But
flight
I
was
don't
all he
know.
had.
I think we've proven that Mandalorian jetpacks have got some staying power. They can go pretty far.
Right, and because Johnny and I were talking about when they were fighting the Crate Dragon, Din Djarin and not Boba Fett,
Yeah.
but Timothy Oliphant Boba Fett,
Right.
were up there shooting for quite a while. I would
So-
like to do a stopwatch.
Yeah. So here's the question: do you think that last episode they introduced the fuel problem because they're going to need that later on this season?
That yes, it will come into play again.
I feel like that's never been an issue until this past episode. That's setting a precedent.
Yes.
Right? That fuel can be a problem with these things. I think maybe we're going to see that again.
So at episode 8 when they're fighting Moff Gideon,
And
everybody's
he's flying away, and Din is like flying. He's like, "Oh no, I can't get him. I'm running out of gas."
Yeah.
Well, I'll be like,
We saw it. We knew it. We knew this was happening.
think of Bantha Milk Podcast.
That's
and
right.
Like, comment, subscribe.
That's right. Listen to us. We know things.
LCR.
So then they beat the town, and then after they beat the town, Bo-Katan gets summoned to the armor.
Yeah, like, hey, bro, I got a note for you.
Come here. Yeah, you gotta go see the armor. Let's
Yeah.
go. And
The armor is like-
and Paz Vizsla takes her down the steps. This would have been cool if she was brought by somebody else. I don't think we needed Paz Vizsla to do it.
Yeah, all he did was just walk her there.
He just walked her there. Yeah.
And then she's just like, hey, take your helmet off.
Take your helmet off.
You'll totally be fine. Don't worry about it.
I trust me. Do you
Take your
trust me?
helmet off.
Take your helmet
You're
off.
out of the club.
Sucker.
Yeah.
I didn't say
Hey, everyone,
Simon
look,
Says.
She took her helmet off, guys.
If I said Simon Says take your helmet off, you could have, but I didn't. So you have to. Now you're out of the club. Haha.
It was I was pretty confused. I mean, it seems like there's some weirdness.
Mhm.
Like they said something without saying something. Like, I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So like something unsavory is gonna happen, right? Like we already know that the Mandalorians are up to some stuff because like they're saying, oh, the Mandalorians stole Moff Gideon. But we don't know. Maybe that was a frame job.
I think that was a frame job, but
It's like, let's take this precious ore. I'm gonna just throw it at the wall and leave it there.
and leave it there. Yeah. Did you also notice? And Johnny pointed this out last week. Every time you take your helmet off, your hair is perfectly neat
I
underneath.
said that's begging too. Like, like this woman has got her hair just perfectly like coiffed straight down, like no like crease right
No.
where the helmet would hit the head.
Nope.
It must have like some sort of technology that gives an air cushion.
It has
So
to.
that you literally, it's stuck to your head,
Yeah.
but you don't even feel it because there's a layer of air between you. I want that.
Yes.
I'm a motorcycle driver, and that sounds amazing.
I mean, I wear baseball hats. I take my hat off, and my hair is a mess. But
Not
I
a
would-
Mandalorian helmet.
Nope.
I bet if you wore that all day at work, your hair would be fine.
my hair would be fine.
Yeah.
And I even said that Johnny said it reminds me of a movie that you appreciate, which is with Burt Reynolds and Sally Fields, Smokey and the Bandit, because
Sure.
he always wore that cowboy hat. But when he took it off, his hair was immaculate underneath it. So apparently, in Hollywood, when you take your hat off, your hair is perfect.
Hey man, a man can dream.
A man can dream. So yeah. So then she's like, "You walk amongst both worlds because
you can show your face.
you can show your face. You saw
You saw him at the store.
You saw him
I
at the
believe you
store.
now.
You're the new leader, and you can do both things." And she comes out, and it was cool that the armor was like walking with her, but it was so over dramatic. It was like, why is it? Oh my gosh, she doesn't have her helmet.
She's not-
And then
But I feel like they have to do that, and they've done that a couple times now with the Mandalorians because they can't emote
right,
with their faces.
Yeah.
And just like so, like you have to have that like clap on the back. Good job. You know, like these very overt.
Yeah,
Like this is the message I'm sending with this body language. Especially for extra actors, you know.
yeah,
what I mean?
and
Like,
all these extra actors probably worked at Disneyland beforehand as characters because then you can emote things bigger and better, or maybe they were mimes or something. I don't know.
maybe.
But yeah, so then she gets told to
She goes on her mission.
goes on her mission.
I'm gonna go find the other Mandos.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. I was like, is she gonna go to the Mythosaur or where's she going?
No, she's getting more Mandos.
She's gonna get more Mandos so that they can build their army up and build their forces back up again. For what reason we don't know other
you know,
than
just like Order 66, when we thought, oh, all the Jedis were killed, No, it's a big universe. There are lots
Right.
of Jedi.
Well, this also goes back to when she was sitting on her throne all by herself because she was angry that
all her buddies
left her. So she can get back on her ship and she can dial you up your cell phone. Hey, Nick,
bro.
Nick, I'm back. Come back.
I saw a mythosaur.
I saw a mythosaur. You have to come to me now.
Shit.
And then we see the is this when we get to the big reveal of yes, because then Captain Phasma, nope, not Captain Phasma.
Definitely not. That's
Captain
Brianna
Carson,
yeah.
Captain Carson, Space Cop, is just flying around.
Space Turner. Who's Hooch?
Who's Hooch?
We need a Hooch.
That'll be funny.
He needs like a little space puppy.
He does.
I would watch Space Turner and Space Hooch.
It would be him with the pirate assistant that was in the big ship, that dog guy, the little one you said was like the guy from Smee, yeah. He would be perfect for Hooch. He would be the perfect Hooch. He would be the perfect space Hooch, yep. So he's flying around and then he sees a Imperial class ship that's just floating there.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna get a bigger reveal here. This felt like a really important moment. Like, oh my God, there's this like creepy freaking ship all like in the middle of the vacuum of space. Like,
yeah, I thought maybe like when he sent that probe in, like something was gonna crush it, and
or else he would like see like something like that would lead him like to more like Emperor sort of stuff rather than like just. But like that probe was pretty rad.
That probe was rad.
Around in there.
Yeah, and the green R2 unit was all the droids were painted very nicely in this episode. Even R5 looked like
it's not a rebellion anymore.
No, looked like they cleaned it up real nicely. Yeah. So then he sends a little probe in to see what's going on. And immediately he knows that the
frozen hands and
that
stuff.
it's from the ship. They're all people of the ship.
And whoever he's talking to on the other side is like, whoever that is, they're like, "Hey, bro, this is classified.
It's classified. Can't tell you what it is.
Sure seems like this was the plot point."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh man, it is the plot point."
Oh wait, we have to unclassify it real quick. It's classified, but the date that it was shipped
the date
out
and time aren't classified for some reason.
When it left wasn't.
And like they totally moved this guy at the same time. I know
this ship left from the same place. Steve told me this ship left from the same place at the same time that Moff Gideon left. So I'm not saying it's Moff Gideon's ship, but I'm not saying it's not. It's Moff Gideon's ship. Yeah.
So. But oh no, it's the Mandalorians. They did it all along.
The Mandalorians did it because there's Beskar in all of them.
Weren't for you tricksy kids.
I like the episodes of Scooby-Doo when they take the mask off and it's one person, and then they go, "It's Nick," and then they take the mask off again. Nope, it's Rob. Yep. Oh, that makes so much more sense.
Yep.
So apparently the Mandalorians kidnapped Moff Gideon. Why? I don't know. I don't think it is.
He's not dead.
He's not dead.
We'll see him within the next 3 episodes. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and wager.
You think so?
Yeah.
If there's ever any good break out of jail heist scenes, the guy that they want to get out of jail is not dead. So
yes. Now here's the problem. How are they going to top the season 2 finale?
That is correct. How are they going to? We need, and we don't need another big Jedi reveal.
Yes, we do.
I mean,
yes, we do. No, you're right.
But it's the Mandalorians.
But like it wasn't that it was a big Jedi reveal. It was something that mattered to us.
Right.
That we hadn't seen. Like it was something that like we built to, and we're like, holy shnikes, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
So like. It's going to be a tall order for them.
Ahsoka is the next series.
So, yeah, it could be definitely something having to do with Ahsoka. Right? A lead in some way.
Yeah.
I think would be something that might create some hype.
And also, by the way, Moff Gideon was doing all the press releases with them. We've completed 5 episodes so far. Haven't seen him once.
Yeah, methinks he might be coming sooner rather than later.
He's got... I mean, other than the fact that we know that he's coming at some point in time, it would be kind of silly for him not to do the press releases, knowing that he's going to be in it. And like I said, there hasn't been any major conflict other than, dragon birds taking Mandalorians,
yeah.
Paz's kid or whatever, like little conflicts, but nothing major yet. So we have to get to this major story arc.
We're in the Andor portion of our Mandalorian,
yes,
where we've got subterfuge and things in the shadows,
and we know that they're trying to work on the cloning. So he's going to come to try and get Grogu. We know that's going to what his goal is.
Right. I forgot that the end goal here was still Moff Gideon getting Grogu. Like,
yes.
That was the whole point of this.
The whole point of this from 3 seasons ago was that he needed his DNA
But Steve, Evil Girl, got a lot of the stuff that they need for the research to continue, so...
She got all the equipment,
right?
But we still don't have the little
green dude.
We need the little green dude. We need to get his
DNA,
his bodily fluids out of him.
His ear
hair. We need to drain all of his blood.
His blood. His ear hair blood.
His ear hair.
I wonder what color
blood.
all the midichlorians are.
Yes,
in the ear hair blood.
They're all in the ear hair bloods. Yes.
Yeah. Ear hair blood, new band name.
That's in my band name.
Anyway. So they find out it was the Mandalorians, and then
it ends.
Fade to black.
Fade to black.
Well, really just go to black. No.
Right. But there was a lot of wipes in this.
There were some wipes.
Sure. Which was cool. A lot of throwback to the original movie wipes. So that was fun as well.
So what grade do you give it?
Because we haven't gotten any major conflict, I would still go B+ again.
Okay. I'm giving this one a solid A-.
Okay.
That might be the highest one I've given this season.
I think the season premiere,
I might have given it an A-.
Yeah, we gave that an A-. Yeah.
I loved this episode. Like, I thought it was everything I was hoping that the episode with, that initial, 15 minutes of, oh my God, Mandalorian, and then 40 minutes of Coruscant boringness. Like, it was that. It was like I got all this awesome Star Wars action. I was like happy. I was smiling.
Yeah.
It just felt like Star Wars.
And I mean, it was listed at 47 minutes, 42, 47 minutes, whatever. But the last 5 minutes are credits.
So about 40-ish
40-ish, 35, 40-ish minutes. But it was solid. It was fast. High pace, and I did like the 2 cameos. I did like Zeb and the ladies' man cameo. It was fun that Tim Meadows was in it, just for no reason. Like, it could have been anybody, but they used Tim Meadows,
and it worked. With his personality and his shtick, and it was really good. So I liked it a lot. I'd give it an A- at the very least. It was pushing A category.
Avengers Hockey gave it a B+ also.
All right. Listen, I'm not gonna tell you all wrong. B+ is solid.
B+ is solid.
I'm not trying to give everything an A+ here. We're trying to be objective here.
I want to see more Zeb. I want to see him really do something. If Captain Kirk Carson, that's his first name. You didn't know
Space
that.
Cop.
Yeah, Space
Kirk
Cop.
Carson's.
If he
Kirk
brings
Carson, Space
Kirk
Cop.
Carson, Space Cop.
I like that.
If he brings all of his little crew of guys that are training on the remote island of Hawaii, it looked like they were in Hawaii.
Sure
it was a very nice
yeah.
nice planet that they were on. That's the only thing on that
tiny
planet.
Little
by
bar.
the way. Yeah, a little bar, a couple of docks for some Y-wings, and that's all we have there.
It.
An X-wing, 3 Y-wings on the whole planet. That's it.
I mean, listen, if we got one planet city over in Navarre, we
can have one on the planet of Hawaii.
Yeah.
So I would like to see all of them helping the Mandalorians fight against Moff Gideon, a big Mandalorian. I forget what they were calling the space cops.
Adelphi
yeah.
Squadron.
Yeah, I would like to see them all come together to fight, because we saw on the outskirts of Mandalore there was way too many X-wings to be floating around the planet of Mandalore.
Right.
So we know Moff Gideon has a giant fleet of stuff. So just 2 spaceships that we have with this little crew of Mandalorians. And even if Bo-Katan goes out, she's going to get the rest of her owl people back.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get maybe 2 or 3 more ships, but 5 ships against all those X-wings, even though Din Djarin says, I like those odds.
Yeah. And that was a callback to the first episode.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're in the last 3 episodes of the season. I think things are going to have to start happening pretty quickly here.
Yeah.
You know, we're in that part of the season where things are just going to start happening.
Yeah, we're going to get
Or,
that
like-
giant conflict. We're going to get that giant, oh no,
Yeah.
oh no, they're not going to live. Grogu.
And then we're going to have an episode or 2 to figure it out.
Yeah. I hope they don't kidnap Grogu. I hope they almost get to kidnapping Grogu because it would be too tough on my heartstrings
I
if
just feel
Grogu does
like-
get kidnapped again. It would be too repetitive for
like
season 1.
The emotional manipulation of just using Grogu as that bait is too easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like today, like in this past episode, I actually liked that. Like, I was never like, oh no, not Grogu. You know,
Yeah.
Grogu was in the seat with him the whole time, and it was just like, I don't have. So like, yeah, it you know, we have this attachment to him, but I hope they don't lean on that too much as like that's oh no, don't kill Grogu because like it gets old after.
It
a
gets
little
old,
while.
especially since you know that Grogu and Din Djarin aren't going to die. Then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, they have too much plot armor
Yep.
to do this to us. You got to come up with something else.
Yep.
So yeah, but anywho, I said in last week's episode that there was a news article from Entertainment Weekly, and they were asking Dave Filoni or Jon Favreau, how much longer do we have? And he said he already has like the first 5 seasons written
Right.
already.
And he said he doesn't write, like he doesn't plan several seasons ahead.
Right.
He writes, like a season ahead, and
Yeah.
he like whatever happens at the end of that season. He's like, oh, you know, it would be great if that. So he doesn't have like a grand map of where this is going to end.
Yeah.
But he's like, when it comes to his logical end, it will. But like you know, like it's like George R.R. Martin. He would always say like Stephen King writes his book very like meticulously, but he like gardens George R.R. Martin.
Okay.
Where, like he'll plant and he'll tend to his garden and
Okay.
see what grows,
okay.
and then he'll prune that in a certain way. And so like that's why, you know, Game of Thrones was supposed to be 3 books.
Right.
Do you know any of the original intent for Game of Thrones? Because it's wacky.
No, because George R.R. Martin seems wacky.
He's wacky. So originally 3 books. Joffrey and Robb were going to fight each other,
Okay.
and that's why in the first season, in the first books, they're like, oh, they're fighting with soy swords together. There was supposed to be a love triangle between Arya Stark, Tyrion Lannister, and Jon Snow.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a lot of weird stuff that was supposed to, but again, we are in the waiting for the 6th book now.
Yeah.
When there was supposed to be 3, and none of that came to fruition.
And none of it came.
because again, he like would garden and like and then the next time, you know, it'd be better if this went this way. So it is. It does make you think about like some of these writers and how much of this stuff is planned and how much of it is, you know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Well, it was kind of like, I don't want to say it's like that. Lost, I felt like they got lost in Lost because
That's what everyone feels. I feel.
they had an idea and then it kept getting picked up longer and longer, and then they're like, we're out of ideas. What do we do now? And even like,
Surely that doesn't logically lead us to maybe we stop.
right.
No, we're
No.
still money coming in.
Yeah.
We keep going.
And which is why I liked what was there's a Nickelodeon or Disney cartoon with the kid was named Dipper, but it was oh darn it, they it was like a mystery type of there was a building called the Mystery Shack and whatever, and they really thought out
Dipper
from
Pines
uh,
from Gravity Falls.
Gravity Falls, yes. They had it all planned. It's the exact opposite of George R.R. Martin.
Right, where it was meticulously planned.
Yeah, it was meticulously planned
Right.
out from season 1 to season 5, or however many seasons they had. They knew where they wanted to go, and they knew how they wanted to get there.
Right.
So it was and then it was cool because it was like they got to the end. They said, "This is it," and
It was over.
now it was over.
Yep.
And that was the end of it. And it was like, oh, but it was so good. We need more. And they're like,
Nope.
no.
It's done.
Like this is what we wanted to do. And there's so many YouTube videos and I'm sure podcasts and stuff, maybe not because it was more teenagers, but a lot of YouTube videos all about all the Easter eggs in it and all the things that were leading up to the finale, and how if you rewatch it, you can see this and that and boom, 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 boom. And it was just such a well-written show for a cartoon, but it was like, look, this is where we're going, and we're going to stop.
Right.
So I really appreciate that type, because they could have kept going and making more money, and they said, nope, we're done.
Yep.
But Jon Favreau said, as long as I'm coming up with ideas and as long as Disney Plus is going to pay me, I can keep doing this.
I hope he still comes up with ideas.
I don't know if they would make this show great, but I don't know if we needed and Entertainment Weekly, they were like, oh, let's hope for 10 more seasons. I don't know how.
I'll take 10 more seasons if they start with the 2 to 3 filler episodes per season.
Yeah, and how many times can we rinse and repeat? Grogu's going to get captured.
Yeah.
I don't want 10 seasons of rinse and repeat that.
Yeah.
And losing these dumb filler episodes. I'm hoping something happens with the Doctor, like we see him again, but I think they got what they needed out of him. They got his equipment, and then they fried him, and it's like, okay, we saw him a little bit here and there, and then they give you a whole episode about him, and then they go, yeah, we're done with you.
Yeah.
So, whatever. But anyway, I think that's our rundown of this episode.
That's the rundown, man.
I liked it.
It was a great one. It was one of my favorites of the season, if not my favorite of the season. And we'll be back at you next week with yet another. Are there any double combined episodes coming up, or is it just
no?
one
It's all singles. The Bad Batch does a bunch of double and combined, and
yeah, we should probably watch that and talk about it at some point.
I don't think I watched this week's. I'm pretty sure I watched every week up until this week.
Behind.
You're really behind. It's good. It's really good. There's some great storytelling in it. It's still slow, which is the only downfall to it. But there's a lot of really, really good storytelling in it, and they're throwing out a lot of things that help piece together the universe for episodes that Clone Wars based, and they're doing a whole bunch now with the clones. What do we do with the clones now that they're not being used?
Right.
Politics of clones, that they're not just pieces of military; they're actual people. Yeah. They're humans. So it's pretty cool.
Right,
it's
well,
good. You got to get on that.
As someone with a Star Wars podcast, I should probably do that.
Yeah, you should watch that.
Yeah. Either way, check us out on all the social medias. Make sure you share us with at least 16 people each.
Please do.
Just if you share us with 16 people, you will have done your part in fighting climate change and the weather. And who wants to fight the weather? Everyone.
Fight the weather. Go out there with a stick and fight it off. That's what they say.
Speak softly, carry a big stick, fight the weather.
Fight the weather.
And as our Ugnaught friend here says, we have spoken.
We have spoken.
Hooray.